Hey guys, welcome back to the MiniFez channel. I entered a box tournament today and I finished X1 with Yubel. I ended up finishing in top 8. My one loss was to Lab. We had a 45-minute game 1 and I made a few mistakes because I was getting used to the deck and it was the first round of the day. So I made a lot of mistakes with the deck, like not putting my Ubels in attack mode or banishing the wrong cards off Prosp, and then that cost me the game because I lost the grind game. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So we played free Samsara Lotus. This card is so good in this deck. Tribute it, special any Ubel monster from your deck, and in end phase it comes back to hand or field as long as you control OG Ubel. So this card's cracked. It lets you get the tribute fodder for Ubel, or discard fodder for Super Poly, or it's got an on-field effect where you can change one of your opponent's monster effects to destroy a Ubel on field, so it's technically a negate as well. So this card's crazy. We played 3 of the new guy, Grave Squirmer. So you can special this as long as you control Fiend, and then optionally you can destroy a monster on field. So you can use it to destroy a Ubel or like a Spirit of Ubel, so you can trigger your Nightmare Thrones if you need to, or trigger your Spirit. So that's useful. We played 3 Spirit of Ubel. This card is probably the best card in the deck. On special summon, searches any spell trap in the deck. Can't be destroyed by battle, you take no damage, blah blah blah. Every time it's destroyed, it floats into Ubel. Not once per turn. This card is literally cracked. Then 1 of each first and second form of Yubel. I've seen some people messing around with 2 OG Yubel or playing the third form. I don't think the third form makes sense because it's a level you can't really play with. Like, you can use it as link fodder, but you don't really need link fodder. This deck puts out so many bodies anyway. The second Ubel is fine. It lets you make the rank 10 easier, but it's adding an extra garnet in your deck, which I think is just not necessary, personally. We played 3 Nightmare Throne. This is literally the best card of the deck. It adds any fiend with 0 attack or 0 defense. So it can search either your Ubel engine or your Sacred Beast engine, which we'll get into after we finish the Ubel cards. And then when your Ubel monster is destroyed, you can add a Ubel monster that's 1 level higher or lower, and then special it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So if you destroy Spirit of Ubel, you go Chainlink 1 Spirit to summon OG Ubel, and then Chainlink 2 Dis to summon the second form, or you can go Chainlink 1 Dis and Chainlink 2 Spirit to play around something like Ogre, because Ogre's being played now. This card is insane as well. It's the Rotor, but it's a continuous spell, so you can destroy a dark monster and then add a Ubel monster or a card that mentions Ubel, and then it's so this is good for triggering Spirit or Ubel, stuff like that. And then its second effect is also insane because it means your opponent must attack your Ubel every battle phase or Ubel monster. And when they do, any damage you take, they take instead. So let's say you have OG Ubel. OG Ubel would burn them with its effect, and then this would burn them again. So you can easily get them down to a lot of life points lost and then OTK them in the next turn, because they just forget that this has that effect. One-off spells and traps, we played the one Mature Chronicle. Usually you just want to use this to search Super Poly turn 1, but it's got some other cool effects as well. Like you can add any of your banished cards to your hand, which is nice in the grind game. You can special a Yubel from your grave, which is also nice if you need a way to get Yubel on field for like Super Poly or something. And then it's also got an interesting effect where you can banish a card from your deck. You can use that, like you could technically play a Thunder Dragon engine and banish a Thunder Dragon raw from your deck, and then end on Colossus as well. But that's adding more garnets to the deck, which I don't know if it's worth it, but it's worth exploring if you want to try that out. And then it's four counters. You can destroy any card on the field without targeting, which is pretty good. But the final effect's the best one, which you can just search Super Poly. And Super Poly is literally insane in this deck. And then this card is really good for the grind, because you can activate one effect each turn. Either special any of your Yubel monsters from Banished or Grave, and then they can't respond to the effects of that monster when they're summoned. Or you can, if you control OG Yubel, discard a card to just fuse from both fields, so you can summon the fusion monster. So you can board wipe them basically. And then those were all the Yubel cards. We now go into the Sacred Beast cards. We played 3 of the Dark Beckoning Beast and 1 of the Spell. So I played 3 and 1 because this is way better to see than this, because all this does is add an extra fiend to your board. Whereas if you start with this, you get an rank 8 play as well. Not a rank 8 play, a rank 2 play in addition to your combo. So you can set up Gin Buster to play around Nib or play around hand traps for your turn. So this is way better to see than this. I don't like opening this instead of this. That's why I'm playing 3 and 1. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind that. And then I'm playing Unchain Package. I'm playing 1 Shalvara and 1 Abominable, because you can link this off and rage into Muckracker and then bring back a Yubel if you need it for a Super Poly target. So that's useful if you're like setting up a rank 10 play and you need to get back a Yubel monster for your Super Poly or something. And with this, you can just bring back the rage on their turn anyway, so you don't lose any interruptions that way. And then we played consistency cards. So Terraforming to get to the field spell, since it's the best card in the deck. And then Set Rotation plus Chicken Game. Maximize our ways into the field spell. So we're playing 40 cards, and we're playing 5 copies of the field spell basically. Chicken Game, it's like the best generic card, best generic set rotation target, so that's the reason I'm playing that. It does, however, conflict with this, which is Prosperity, but like that's fine, because if we're activating Prosperity, we're usually seeing a way into Nightmare Throne anyway, because digging 6 cards deep and there's 5 cards that access or Nightmare Throne is pretty good. We are NonEngine. We play 3 Super Poly. This card is insane. It's technically engine because it's searchable, and with the Ubel fusion monster you can fuse their entire board off, which is just cracked. We played 3 Droplet. This card was insane today. It negated a lot of cards that would otherwise just be annoying to deal with. Sometimes the cost feels too much, because there's some cards you don't want to get rid of, but there's a lot of cards which you can just throw away, like Chicken Game, Prosp. There's like, you can get the bricks out your hand, like it's fine. I think this is too good to not play this format. And then our hand trap for choice today was Droll. My reasoning behind this was it's decent into most combo decks, and I was scared of like combo decks popping off too much and being super hard to break their board. So I was expecting a lot more Snake Eye Fire King than pure Snake Eye in the current tournament. But yeah, this went decent, but I would probably just replace this with Nib, because Nib just feels a lot more reliable to make their board suboptimal. Then the extra deck, we played one Almirage. You need this, so with this Sacred Beast combo, you can link off the Sacred Beast, and then you can use the spell to discard one of your Yubel cards to bring it back, because the Sacred Beast spell discards for cost, and then on resolution special summons any of your fiends with 0 attack or defense from grave. So you can, for example, discard Spirit of Ubel and then bring back Spirit of Ubel, and that lets you search the spell and then combo off. We played one SP. Card is... Do I need to explain why you play SP? Card is insane. One Muckracker. It's great in grind games, and at the end of your combo, you can turn your Rage and Shavara, like I said before, into this, bring a Yubel back, and then use the Unchain Trap to bring back Rage. And it also protects your stuff from battle and destruction. Then Unchain Package, we played one Yama, one Rage, one Link free. Going forward, I want to find space for the Link 4 because I felt like I've run out of targets for the Unchained stuff. Because I was playing the Link 4, but I cut it for the Muckracker. So I would try find space for the Link 4 going forward. Like, there's not a lot of cuttable cards, but I'll talk about them when I get to them. Gin Buster's really good. If you start with the level 2, you can set up this before you do your actual combo. So it lets you play around Nib, or lets you play around other hand traps like Ash on Vital cards, or like Ogre on Field Spell or something like that. But usually you want to set it up for Nib, because that's the most annoying card. We played the XYZ Baron. This card is literally just an upgrade to Baron. Omni Negate, and then you can detach an extra card to destroy any card on the field, not the one you negated. Like, you can destroy the one you negated if you want, but you can just destroy anything, which is insane. Every time you attack, it destroys a card, and when it's destroyed, it destroys a card. This card is just insane. Sometimes you can even pop your own Yubel cards to just plus off of them. Then we played the Gustav Max and Juggernaut Lieb. These cards are insane for pushing for lethal lines. I often banish these off of Prosp. Well, that's what I did today, but I think that was a mistake. I think I should keep these in, because I've found that it's hard to push for game if I banish these off of Prosp. So I'd probably banish some other cards instead of these, because thinking about it, I don't need Mudragon or Garura if I'm setting up Yubel cards. So I'd probably keep these in over those. I played one Typhon. This card's insane, obviously, especially in simplified game states. We played two Ubel Fusion. The second one didn't really come up today, but I am hesitant to cut the second copy, because theoretically, if you're going second, you super poly their board away, and then you can set up super poly to super poly them again on their turn. So I am hesitant to cut the second one for that reason, but it might just be better to play the Unchain Link 4 instead. But yeah, I also, these were the last two cards. It was Mudragon and Garura. These cards felt okay. I didn't make them often. I made this once into Snake Eye, and I didn't make this today, but I made it once against I don't remember, but it was vital in a certain game. These cards are fine, but I wouldn't cut them because they let you super poly without controlling your Yubel monster, which sometimes is necessary. So the only cards I could technically cut for the Unchained Link 4 is probably the second fusion. So I might try that out and see how it goes, and if I miss the second fusion. But it did feel like I was running out of monsters to link my Unchained cards into quite often. Side deck, we played Free Ash. This was mainly for like Branded or Lab. Played Free Nib for combo decks, Snake Eye, random shit, the Mirror even. We played Free Shifter, because I found that in this deck, you don't actually care about Shifter that much. Because Spirit of Yubel can summon from Banished as well. So you can bring Yubel back from Banished as well. So like there's not a lot that Shifter does to your deck, but you can just shut off a combo deck and it can just rail them. Like you side this in against Snake Eye, and they're just struggling and you're just doing your combo things, and they're just looking at you like, how are you doing all this on the Shifter? And I'm just like, yep, Spirit of Yubel is insane. Back row hate. Because back row is cringe. Like stun decks are around, so I expected some stun decks. So I played these. I didn't play any stun decks. I mainly played against combo decks. Like if you count Lab as a stun deck, then maybe, but we didn't even reach game 2 because we had a 45-minute game 1. And then my last card was Skill Drain because this card's insane. It does mean that your Ubel monsters become vanillas, but if you just turn them into like a 4K Leeb, like what's your opponent doing? And they can't attack over them because Spirit still floats, Ubel still floats. So you just live in the good life, and they still take burn damage from Nightmare Pain. So yeah. That's the side deck. Overall, the deck felt insane. My one loss was due to my own misplays. I got rid of my trap by discarding it off Super Poly, but in hindsight, I should have just, because I had the Lotus engrave and I summoned it to field rather than add it to hand. What I should have done was I should have just set the trap and then brought the Lotus back to hand to pitch off a Super Poly. And then I would have trap to keep my engine going throughout the game, because what hurt me was just running out of engine. And if I had the trap, I could keep bringing my engine back and still remain in the game. And then my extra deck just ran out of resources because I banished the wrong things off of Prosp. But those were all my fault, like nothing wrong with the deck. Overall, the deck was just insane. Like this deck feels insane into Tempai, like the matchup is insane because Spirit of Yubel just means that they can't kill you. Because even if they punch over Yubel, you can just flow into normal Yubel. And they can't punch over it unless they droplet it. Like, the only way they can out your Spirit of Yubel or Yubel is through Samurai, the Samurai level 7 Synchro. But if it gets to that point, you can just use your trap or Super Poly to just fuse off their board, and they're just staring at you like, what are they gonna do? That's the deck. The deck felt insane. I'm gonna make some adjustments to it going forward, but overall this deck just performed amazingly. And my one loss was due to my own mistakes. But the deck itself is fine. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.